The Galactic Senate chamber fell silent as the massive doors slid open. The room was circular, with hundreds of platforms hovering at different heights, each holding representatives of the many species that made up the known universe. For over 3,000 years, these species had governed together, fought together, and traded together. Today, they would meet humans for the first time. Lisa Ward straightened her blue diplomatic uniform and took a deep breath. Beside her, Captain John Murphy kept his hands folded behind his back, his posture perfect after 20 years in the Earth Space Fleet. They were the first humans to stand before the Senate, and Lisa could feel the weight of billions of human lives on her shoulders. Species 4291, designation, human from planet Earth, may approach the central platform, announced a mechanical voice. The floating platform beneath them moved forward into the center of the chamber. Lisa could see creatures of all shapes and sizes watching them. Some had multiple eyes, others had scales or feathers, and a few seemed to be made of living crystal or gas contained in special suits. High Supreme Chancellor Gorlax, a tall, thin alien with blue skin and 6 fingers on each hand, spoke first. The Senate welcomes Earth to the galactic community. We have observed your world for some time and believe you are ready to join our fellowship of worlds. Lisa stepped forward. On behalf of Earth and all humans, we thank you for this welcome. We come seeking friendship and mutual cooperation. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Many species understood concepts like alliance, power, protection, and servitude. But friendship as a basis for interstellar relations was unusual. Senator Skatar of the Vexillar Empire stood up. His species resembled large, armored insects with 4 arms and razor-sharp mandibles. The Vexillar controlled dozens of star systems and were known for their military might. What does Earth offer the Senate? Skatar's voice was harsh and clicking. You have no significant fleet, no rare resources we cannot find elsewhere, and your technology is centuries behind most Senate members. Why should we welcome such weakness? Several senators nodded in agreement. New species were typically expected to prove their worth or accept a lower status. Captain Murphy tensed, but Lisa placed a gentle hand on his arm. Senator, we don't come to prove our strength or offer rare treasures, Lisa replied calmly. We bring new perspectives, arts, sciences, and ideas. Humans have a saying, diversity makes us stronger. We believe meeting different minds helps everyone grow. Chancellor Gorlax tilted his head curiously. You speak as if you expect to be equals from the start. Most new species understand they must earn their place. We respect your traditions, Lisa said, but humans believe in the equal worth of all thinking beings. We hope to earn your respect while also giving respect freely. Senator Vrunk, a small creature with large eyes and green fur, spoke next. Fascinating. They appeared genuinely open rather than strategic. The psychology committee should study this. Skatar clicked his mandibles dismissively. Naive idealism. It will not survive first contact with reality. The Vexillar Empire remains unconvinced of human value. Lisa smiled, which confused many aliens unused to human expressions. We look forward to changing your mind, Senator. Humans can be surprisingly resourceful. As the meeting continued, most senators viewed humans, as they had seen many new species before, as naive newcomers who would either learn to play galactic politics or become pawns of stronger powers. Some even calculated how to best use these soft-skinned diplomats for their own advantage. None of them realized that the humans' open hand of friendship would soon prove more disruptive to the galactic order than any weapon or threat could ever be. And as Lisa and John left the chamber to report back to Earth, they had no idea that their simple offer of friendship had already set in motion events that would fundamentally change the Senate forever. 6 months after humans joined the Galactic Senate, an emergency meeting was called. The great chamber buzzed with worried voices as screens showed terrible images from the planet Nix-9, a major colony of the Vexillar Empire. A deadly virus was spreading across Nix-9. The Vexillar, despite their advanced weapons and starships, had poor medical technology. Already thousands had died, and millions more would follow. Senator Skatar stood before the Senate, his usual pride replaced by desperate concern. The virus mutates too quickly for our medical teams. We project 90 million deaths within the month. The Vexillar Empire requests emergency assistance. Many senators looked away uncomfortably. The Vexillar had few friends in the Senate. They were known as harsh rulers and difficult allies. Several senators whispered that this might weaken the militaristic Vexillar, which could be good for galactic peace. Lisa Ward, now Earth's main ambassador, listened quietly. When the murmuring died down, she stood. "Earth would like to help," she said simply. Senator Skatar's mandibles clicked in surprise. "You? What could humans possibly offer that our scientists cannot?" Lisa turned and nodded to a man sitting behind her. Dr. Benjamin Carter stood and walked forward. He was a tall man with kind eyes and graying hair, Earth's leading expert on viral diseases. "I believe I can help," Ben said. "Earth has faced many pandemics throughout our history. We've developed techniques for rapid vaccine development that might work here." Chancellor Gorlax looked skeptical. "The Vexillar biology is nothing like yours, Dr. Carter. Their blood is copper-based, not iron-based like humans. Different chemistry, same principles," Ben replied with a gentle smile. "Viruses follow certain patterns across all biology. May I see your data?" 3 days later, Ben was on a ship to Nix-9, bringing a team of human doctors and equipment. The Senate had approved the mission, though many thought it would fail. On Nix-9, the situation was worse than reported. Hospitals were overflowing. The Vexillar medical staff worked tirelessly, but without hope. When the humans arrived wearing special protective suits, they were met with suspicion. Ben worked 18 hours a day in the makeshift lab. He studied the virus under microscopes, ran tests, and designed possible vaccines. The Vexillar doctors watched in confusion as he tried approach after approach, never becoming frustrated when they failed. "Why do you try so hard for us?" asked Dr. Kolvac, the lead Vexillar physician. "Your species and ours have no treaties or trade agreements." Ben looked up from his microscope. "Because you need help, and we can provide it. That's enough reason." On the 14th day, Ben created a working vaccine. The treatment spread quickly across Nix-9. Death rates fell immediately. Within a month, the pandemic was under control. In the Senate chamber, Senator Skatar faced Lisa Ward and Dr. Carter, who had just returned from Nix-9. "You have saved over 80 million Vexillar lives," Skatar said stiffly. His pride made gratitude difficult. "The Empire acknowledges this debt. What does Earth want in return? Mining rights, technology, military alliance?" Ben shook his head. "Nothing. That's what neighbors do. They help each other." A confused silence fell over the Senate chamber. "Nothing," Senator Vrunk repeated. "You spend billions in resources, risk your people, and want no compensation." "The only thing we want," Lisa said, "is to build goodwill between our worlds." After the session ended, a group of senior senators gathered privately. "I don't trust it," one senator hissed. "No species acts without self-interest." "Perhaps helping others is their self-interest," another suggested. "Or perhaps," Senator Vrunk said quietly, "they are playing a game so long-term that we cannot yet see its purpose." The Senate Intelligence Committee decided that very day to increase surveillance on all human activities. These creatures who helped their former critics without demanding anything in return were becoming more concerning than any military threat. The Senate emergency alarm sounded throughout the Great Chamber. It had been 4 months since the Vexillar pandemic, and now a new crisis threatened the peace of the galaxy. The Calfax Union and the Drellid Commonality, 2 powerful trading species, were on the brink of war. They both claimed ownership of an asteroid belt rich in rare metals in the Cygnus sector. Both sides had moved warships into position. Reports indicated that weapons were armed and ready. "This chamber calls for order," Chancellor Gorlax shouted over the noise. "If these 2 powers go to war, it could pull in allies from both sides. We could be looking at a conflict involving 20 systems and trillions of lives. The Calfax ambassador, a tall being with golden scales and 4 arms, pointed accusingly at the Drellid representative. Those asteroids were mapped by our explorers first. The Drellid are thieves. The Drellid ambassador, whose species resembled large octopi floating in special water tanks, flashed angry colors through her skin. The asteroids sit along our trade routes. Calfax mining would threaten our shipping lanes. For hours, the debate raged with no progress. The Calfax threatened to fire on any Drellid ships that approached the asteroids. The Drellid promised to destroy any Calfax mining equipment deployed in the region. Finally, a voice spoke up from the Earth section. It wasn't Lisa Ward this time, but Samantha Ross, a human negotiator who had recently joined the Earth delegation. "If I may," Samantha said, her voice calm but firm. "I believe there's a solution that would benefit both the Calfax and the Drellid." The chamber quieted, curious what this human might suggest. After the Vexlar incident, humans had earned some respect, even if most senators remained suspicious of their motives. "I propose a joint mining operation," Samantha continued. "The Calfax have superior mining technology, while the Drellid have the best transport ships. Together, you could extract and ship more resources than either could alone." Senator Qatar clicked his mandibles. "And how would profits be divided? That is always where cooperation fails." Samantha walked to the center of the chamber and activated the holographic display. With quick gestures, she outlined a complex but elegant profit-sharing model based on investment, work contributed, and risks taken. "This model includes automatic adjustments as conditions change," she explained. "No one party can take advantage of the other because the system rebalances itself." The Calfax and Drellid representatives studied the proposal carefully. To everyone's surprise, after consulting with their governments, both agreed to try the humans' plan. "This solution honors both our claims," the Calfax ambassador admitted grudgingly, "and provides greater profit than we would see from operating alone," added the Drellid. After the session ended, a special meeting of senior senators convened in a secure room deep within the Senate building. "First medicine, now diplomacy," Senator Vrook observed. "These humans solve problems we've struggled with for decades, and they do it within days or even hours." "They are weaponizing kindness," another senator suggested, "building alliances through goodwill rather than force." More disturbing, Senator Qatar added, "is how easily they think outside our established patterns." The profit-sharing model the human created. Our economists reviewed it and found it brilliant, yet none of us conceived of it in 100 years of negotiations. Chancellor Gorlax looked troubled. "We should give humans more responsibilities within the Senate. Let us see what else they can do." And Senator Vrook added quietly, "Keep them under closer watch. I have authorized additional surveillance on all human diplomatic communications." As the meeting disbanded, none of the senators realized that their fear was growing not from human strength or aggression, but from simple acts of helpfulness and creative problem-solving. Meanwhile, Samantha Ross returned to the Earth Embassy, unaware that her solution had just raised humanity's threat assessment level in the eyes of the Senate's most powerful members. The Kulzar ambassador wept openly on the Senate floor. His skin, usually a vibrant purple, had faded to a dull gray. Behind him, screens showed images of his homeworld, once a beautiful blue-green planet, now scorched and dying. "The solar flare destroyed our atmosphere," he said, his voice breaking. "Radiation levels are fatal across 80% of our surface. Our people are crowded in underground shelters, but supplies are running out. We have perhaps 6 months before we must abandon our world forever." The Senate chamber was quiet. The Kulzar were a peaceful species known for their art and philosophy rather than technology or military power. They had few allies with the resources to help them. Chancellor Gorlax spoke carefully. "The Senate extends its sympathies. We can offer temporary housing for 10,000 refugees on nearby worlds." The Kulzar ambassador looked up in shock. "Chancellor, we are 12 billion. 10,000 is. It is what we can offer, the Chancellor said firmly. Each Senate world has its own problems and limited resources. Everyone knew what was happening. Without their homeworld, the Kolzar would become dependent on whoever helped them. Many powerful species were already calculating how to turn the Kolzar into client worlds that would provide labor and resources in exchange for sanctuary. Perhaps Earth can help, said a voice from the human section. A tall man with glasses and a kind face walked to the center of the chamber. Dr. Alan Williams, Earth's terraforming specialist. He introduced himself. Senator Skatar clicked his mandibles impatiently. Terraforming takes centuries. The Kolzar need help now. Alan smiled. Not with our methods. Earth nearly destroyed its own atmosphere in our industrial age. We learned how to repair it out of necessity. He activated the holographic display and showed a complex system of atmospheric processors, weather control stations, and radiation filters. We can deploy this system within 3 months. It will begin repairing your atmosphere immediately. Within 1 year, radiation levels will drop to safe levels in your temperate zones. After 3 years, your world should be fully habitable again. The Kolzar ambassadors stared in disbelief. This technology, it must be incredibly valuable. It is, Alan agreed. And we're happy to share it with you. At what cost? Asked several senators at once. Alan looked confused. There's no cost. Your people need help. We have the solution. The Senate chamber erupted in chaos. Senators argued loudly about the implications of such powerful technology being given freely. Some questioned if the human technology would actually work. Others warned it might contain hidden control systems or monitoring devices. 3 months later, the first atmospheric processors were activated on the Kolzar homeworld. 6 months after that, the first Kolzar families returned to the surface in protected settlements. True to the human's word, after 3 years, the entire planet was habitable once more. In a special ceremony before the Senate, the Kolzar leadership formally declared humans to be blood friends, the highest honor in their culture. Without asking anything in return, humans saved our species from extinction. The Kolzar High Speaker announced. The Kolzar will stand with humanity for all time as their most devoted friends. After the ceremony, Senator Skatar confronted Lisa Ward in a private chamber. Now I see your strategy, he hissed. You're building an empire of gratitude. The Vexlar, the Kolzar, even the Calfax and Drellid feel indebted to you. It's more effective than any military conquest. Lisa looked genuinely surprised. That's not why we help. Then why do you do it? Skatar demanded. Because we can, Lisa replied simply. Wouldn't you do the same? The question hung in the air between them, and for the first time, the mighty Vexlar warrior had no response. That evening, the Senate Security Council secretly upgraded humanity's threat assessment to the highest level ever assigned to a non-military species. 1 year after the Kolzar homeworld was saved, the Senate Grand Hall was transformed, where once stark white walls and formal seating created an atmosphere of cold diplomacy. Now colorful tapestries hung alongside paintings of Earth landscapes. The sounds of human music, something called classical, played softly in the background. Olivia Taylor, Earth's cultural attaché, moved through the crowded room with a warm smile. She was a small woman with bright eyes and a voice that somehow carried without ever seeming loud. This is just the beginning, she was explaining to a group of interested senators. The Galactic Cultural Exchange Program will allow all species to share their art, music, literature, and cuisine with one another. Senator Vrunk watched from a distance, sipping the human drink called coffee that had become popular among Senate staff. Despite himself, he found the drink pleasant and stimulating. It's happening again, he muttered to Senator Skatar, who stood beside him. First medicine, then diplomacy, then technology. Now they spread their culture, and we consume it eagerly. Skatar's mandibles clicked in irritation. My own offspring now listen to human music. They watch human stories on their data screens. Last week, my eldest asked to visit Earth as a cultural exchange student. Across the room, a Drellid diplomat was examining the human painting of an ocean sunset. His skin rippled with colors of appreciation. Nearby, a group of Calfax were attempting to dance to human music, their movements awkward but enthusiastic. "Have you read the Psychology Committee's report?" Vroonk asked quietly. Skatar nodded. Human creative expressions trigger pleasure centers across all tested species. Their music, their visual art, they somehow tap into universal emotional patterns. Some species are calling it emotional manipulation, Vroonk said. Before Skatar could respond, Stephen Jones, the new human Senate representative, approached them. He was a friendly man with a quick smile. "Senators, I hope you're enjoying the exhibition. I wanted to personally invite you both to a special event on Earth next month, the Global Symphony Festival. We'd be honored to have you as our guests." After the human left, Skatar turned to Vroonk. "Should we alert security? This could be some kind of influence operation." Vroonk's fur rippled thoughtfully. "Let's accept. We need to understand what they're doing." 1 month later, in a massive open-air amphitheater on Earth, 5,000 humans and 300 alien guests watched as a human orchestra performed. The music swelled and ebbed like waves. It was by turns gentle and powerful, sad and joyful. Senator Vroonk felt his fur standing on end. Beside him, to his shock, he saw moisture leaking from Senator Skatar's compound eyes, an expression of deep emotion that the warrior species almost never displayed. When the music ended, there was a moment of complete silence before thunderous applause erupted from all species present. Back on the Senate homeworld, a classified meeting was called. The Security Council reviewed footage from the Earth visit. "This is unprecedented," said the head of Senate Security. "Look at the neurological scans. On the screen, brain images from different species showed remarkably similar patterns of activity when exposed to human art and music. They're not just making friends," Vroonk said. "They're making every species feel emotionally connected to them." A junior analyst stepped forward nervously. "We've completed our strategic assessment, Senators. Our conclusion is disturbing. Humans don't need weapons. Their cultural influence alone is reshaping the Senate from within." The chief of the Psychology Committee nodded grimly. "The most dangerous conclusion from our studies is this: they make you love them, and then you give them whatever they want." As the meeting ended, Senator Skatar discovered something alarming in his pocket, a recording device with human music that he had taken from Earth. More alarming still was the realization that he had been listening to it in private every night since his return. For the first time in his long career, the mighty Vexillar warrior felt afraid, not of human weapons, but of how much he had begun to enjoy their company. Red alert sirens blared throughout the Senate complex. Emergency broadcasts interrupted all communications across 1,000 worlds. The Hive Mind Collective, a hostile species from beyond Senate space, had launched a massive invasion of the outer systems. The Senate War Council gathered in the secure command center deep beneath the main chamber. Reports streamed in from border worlds. Defense stations destroyed, colonies under attack, refugee ships fleeing in panic. They struck 12 systems simultaneously, reported the defense minister, a tall reptilian from the Sarkin Federation. "Our forces are scattered and cannot coordinate effectively." Chancellor Gorlax looked grim. "The hive mind's telepathic coordination gives them a tactical advantage. They think and act as one while our ships must wait for orders." Senator Skatar slammed his fist on the table. "The Vexillar Empire will deploy our battle fleets, but we need time to mobilize." As the council argued about strategy, a human officer in a crisp blue uniform entered the room. Admiral Catherine Lewis was the highest-ranking human military official assigned to the Senate. Though humans had been part of the Senate for just 3 years, her strategic brilliance had earned her an advisory position. "Admiral Lewis," the Chancellor acknowledged, "Earth is far from the conflict zone. This does not directly concern you. Catherine stepped forward respectfully. With permission, Chancellor, I believe humans can help. We won't offer direct military intervention. Our fleet is too small. But we can offer something more valuable. A coordinated defense strategy. The council fell silent, skeptical but desperate. Over the next hours, Catherine showed them a new approach. Instead of meeting the hive mind head-on, she proposed a flexible defense network where ships from different species worked in small autonomous groups that could adapt without waiting for central command. We call it mission command, she explained. Each group knows the overall objective, but chooses their own methods based on local conditions. Senator Vroonk looked doubtful. Our species have different fighting styles, different technologies. How can they work together without central control? Catherine smiled. That diversity is your strength, not your weakness. The hive mind thinks as one. They cannot understand unpredictable, creative responses. With reluctant approval, the Senate implemented Catherine's plan. Vexlar warships fought alongside Drellid speeders. Calfex defense platforms coordinated with Kolzar sensor arrays. Human communication experts helped translate between fleets. 1 month later, the hive mind retreated. The border worlds were safe. The Senate had won its first major military victory in centuries, and with surprisingly few casualties. At the victory celebration, ships from 50 species flew in formation above the Senate Capitol. Admiral Catherine proposed the creation of a permanent Senate Defense Council with representatives from all member worlds. Working together, your species accomplished what none could do alone, she told the gathered senators. This victory belongs to all of you. After the public ceremony, Senator Skator requested a private meeting with Catherine. For years, he had been humanity's biggest skeptic, always searching for their hidden agenda. In a quiet room overlooking the capital city, the Vexlar warrior faced the human admiral. You gave us a brilliant defense strategy, he said. But I must know the truth. Our intelligence reports show that humans have developed weapons far more advanced than what you've shared with the Senate. Your ships could have defeated the hive mind directly. Catherine didn't deny it. You could have conquered us many times over these past years, Skatar continued. With your medicine, your technology, your cultural influence, and now your military strategy. Why don't you? Admiral Lewis looked out at the stars visible through the window. Because friendship lasts longer than empires, Senator. History has taught us that. We learned it the hard way. Skatar studied her face, searching for deception. Finding none, he felt something he had never experienced before in his long military career, a deep, unsettling fear of peace. The most secure chamber in the Senate building had no windows. 15 senior senators sat around a circular table, their faces lit by soft blue light. This was not a regular meeting. This was the Secret Committee for Special Threats. We are here to discuss the human problem, Senator Vroonk announced. His green fur seemed to glow in the dim light. Senator Skatar clicked his mandibles nervously. For 6 years, we have watched them. We have studied them. Yet we still do not understand their true purpose. The room was silent as Vroonk activated a hidden panel. A large screen appeared on the wall, showing images of Earth. My research team discovered something disturbing, he said quietly. Humans are not naturally peaceful beings. The screen changed to show ancient human battles, wars with primitive weapons, then modern conflicts with tanks and planes, and finally footage of nuclear explosions. These images are from their own historical archives, Vroonk explained. They freely share this information. Humans fought each other for thousands of years. They nearly destroyed their own planet several times. The senators watched in silence as images of human wars played before them. I don't understand, said a senator from the floating worlds. If they are capable of such violence, why do they act so peaceful with us? That, Vroonk said, is precisely what makes them terrifying. He changed the display again, now showing humans helping across the galaxy. Doctors saving lives, engineers rebuilding worlds, diplomats making peace. A species born gentle may become violent when threatened, Vroom continued. But humans know both paths well, war and peace. And they choose peace, not from weakness, but from experience. Chancellor Gorlax looked troubled. Are you suggesting their kindness is artificial? No, said Senator Skatar, surprising everyone. I have spent years watching humans. Their kindness is genuine. That's what makes it so powerful. They choose to be kind when they could choose otherwise. The screen showed new images. Human children playing with young Kolzar, human scientists working side by side with Vexillar engineers, human artists performing with musicians from a dozen worlds. The Psychology Committee has reached a conclusion, said a small senator with 6 eyes. Humans are reformed warmongers. They tried violence and found it wanting. They discovered that peace is more advantageous in the long term. The committee debated for hours. Some senators wanted restrictions on human activities. Others suggested studying humans more closely. A few even proposed making humans the center of a new Senate alliance. Finally, they reached a decision. The next day, in the Grand Senate chamber, filled with representatives from 1,000 worlds, Chancellor Gorlax made a historic announcement. After careful consideration, the Senate officially recognizes Earth as a guiding species with special advisory status on all major Senate councils. Peter Clark, the human representative, seemed surprised by the honor. He was a tall man with kind eyes who had replaced Lisa Ward just months earlier. We are grateful for this recognition, he said simply. We look forward to continuing our work together as equals. After all, friendship between worlds makes the universe better for everyone. That evening, as celebrations continued across the capital city, Senator Vroom completed the committee's classified report. The final paragraph read, "The most terrifying thing about humans is not their capacity for violence. It is how they have weaponized kindness. They have achieved what no military could. They have made themselves essential to the Senate's future. Species that once feared each other now work together because of human influence. They have conquered the galaxy without firing a shot, not through force but by becoming the friends everyone wants to have. Most disturbing of all, we now cannot imagine a future without them." As the report was sealed in the most secure archives on Earth, a new generation of doctors, engineers, artists, and diplomats prepared to journey to the stars. They packed medical supplies, building tools, musical instruments, and books, the true weapons of humanity. And not one of them thought of themselves as conquerors. They were simply being nice.